So here's the quick little tour of my mess. I'm not going to just show you everything because I don't want to scare you all and I don't want to scare myself. But if you look in the distance, so I'm sitting, like I said, I'm sitting on my deck. You can kind of see this little white thing. So that's a really cool little planter area. It's got some pots in it. It's also got a lot of weeds in it. I originally had great dreams of having a pretty little garden area in that, and it just really hasn't worked for me time-wise to make that happen. There are some other things I need to do to make it happen that I haven't been able to do. So it is still this messy, dirty, unkempt area of weeds. And so, but if you look up on the hill, you can see a little play area, and then right above the play area, those little specks, those are my goats. I have 4 goats. Some of them were on purpose. Some of them were on accident. I got, let's see, there we go, you can see the goats. So the black one is Lady Catherine de Bourgh, and the really dark tan one that you really can't see well because of the lighting is Mr. Collins. And then the 2 lighter ones are Lord Kitty and Lord Mary. My children had issues trying to figure out their genders. And anyway, I wanted goats, and I had their names, Mr. Collins and Lady Catherine de Bourgh, picked out a long time ago because I thought it would be hysterically funny if they had babies together. So they had babies together, but I didn't realize how hard that would be or how much work it would be. And so now I have 3 male goats and 1 female, and my males need to be castrated desperately. And unfortunately, we just haven't been able to make that work out. So eventually that will happen, and that will be lovely because uncastrated male goats are actually a pain in the neck, and they are not very fun. They're kind of jerks. So you can see that big shelter thing in the distance. That is something my husband is currently building for the hay. We need something that we can store our hay in so it doesn't get wet and ruined by the elements. We have had some rain come through, and our hay last winter was under a big tarp. The tarp got ruined, and if you don't keep your hay covered, it will grow mold and get gross and icky. And hay is very expensive, so we want to have a way to keep that. But as you can see, it's very ugly. I hate ugly things in my yard. I want to look out at my beautiful scenery, and you can see that my hay area does not fit that. So now we'll go look over at the barn area, and I will zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So that's our barn. It is also very ugly because my husband likes to make things usable, and he doesn't care if they're pretty or not. So still working on hopefully someday having the barn pretty. What you don't see are the horses, and that's because the horses are in our beautiful pasture way up beyond the barn, and you can't see it. It's actually past the hay shelter that I just showed you. So you can't see that because it's too far to see. And the horses are way out in the back running around having fun, so you can't see them either. And there's our ugly propane tank, which also I don't like because it's ugly. And here's on my ugly deck, there's my grill, cans that need to be taken care of somehow. We don't have recycling here, and so we have to take them somewhere to be recycled, and that hasn't happened because so much to do. And so here is my lovely little deck area. Those are our floor mats, or doormats actually. So every time I get a doormat, my cat, who is somehow hiding, he's a barn cat, he likes to leave me presents on them. And no matter how many times I clean it, the cat always likes to leave presents, and you can, if you look really close, see that they are animal guts. He's a great mouser, great killer, and so I don't have a usable doormat because he is a jerk, but a lovable jerk. Speaking of jerks, here are the fluppies. Some of you know my dogs. They're like, "Mommy, please." So they're tied up right now because we do not have any fencing other than a very small area that right now stinks like dog pee. And they want to be with mommy, so this is the only way they can be with mommy. And now they're mad because mommy is moving out of the reach of their leashes, and they're like, mommy, you're not fair. So more, I really would like this to be a pretty area. It's my front door, but it just has all of my husband's junk. Again, he does not value pretty things the way I do. So again, we have my lovely little patio. That down there beyond the fence that you can see, that little fenced area, that is where they have a small fenced area for going potty when I don't feel like walking them. And it's the only thing we can make work. And so that's what we do. And here, again, you know, I'd love to be able to sit out and have a nice meal, but this is all weird man junk. Some lovely little, that is my pretty little pot of marigolds, which are sort of growing, and I'd love to have more pretty flowers, but that's the best I could do, and so I'm okay with that. I'm like, hey, at least I have some pretty flowers, right? So again, we have here another one of our beautiful little picnic tables that I would love to be able to use and have picnics on. Every time I clear it off, my husband puts more junk on it. Right now we have a broken bag of horse feed, and in the background you can hear my dog being mad at me because mommy is not paying him attention. And again, we have more of my lovely weeds and planter area, which someday I hope will be pretty flowers and pretty plants when I have time. More weeds. So this used to be a planter with this pot that's got weeds sticking out of it. We used to have a plant growing in there. It died because that's what happens here. And I do have my pretty little fountain that gives me some nice, water, and I love the water sounds. It doesn't really make up for the traffic noise, but at least it's something. And if you look high up there, that is part of our chicken coop. Again, if you look really closely, you will notice that it is just pieced together and needs a lot more work to make it more usable and pretty. It's usable, it's just not pretty. And also our netting on the top got destroyed during a snowstorm, and so we have to fix that, because that will detract predators, or at least keep the predators out. And again, just have not had the time to do it because we have so many other projects going on. And then, you know, here's the rest of my lovely little deck. That's where I was sitting. You can see the towel on the chair. That's because my darling cat likes to sit in that chair. I'm really super allergic to cats, which is why he's an outdoor barn cat. And so I have to put a towel on it so I can sit on it and not get cat hair all over me. So that's my lovely little tour. Say hi to the dogs again and all the other prettiness. So now that you've seen the ugly, some of you may have noticed a few pretty things, so I'm just going to tell you about some more of them. Oh, let me show you over there. So that's our garage, and I don't know if you can see the pile of junk. I am not zooming in on that because every time I look at it I get really angry because that's all my husband's man junk, and it's so frustrating to me because I want that to be all gone and I want it to be pretty, but no can do. So let's focus on the pretty. So if you look back over here, that is our pond, which I love. We have two ponds. Right now the water level on my pond is low, but it's still pretty and makes me happy, and hopefully at some point I will get to clean it out and do some really nice things like have it lined and have it be more year-round and usable in terms of just always having water in it, because that would be really nice. So, and again, you know, if you look way up on the hill, our property, you could kind of see way in the distance there, that white thing, that's the truck and horse trailer. So we have plenty of room for all of those things. And beyond that is where the horses are out running. And so just the idea that they're out there, it makes me really happy and just really pretty. to see and look out there. I love to go for hikes up there. I love to go for walks up there. It's so nice to just have all of that in my own backyard. And then, of course, again, my goats wandering around there. It's just neat to have them. They are eating all the grass, but not the weeds, which is a little frustrating because I was told they would eat the weeds, and they're like, no thank you. We have too much beautiful grass, so I'm not going to eat that. And so that is kind of my tour of just the beautiful things. You can't really see in the video, but beyond the horse corral, we have some really beautiful rock outcroppings that are neat to hang around, and it's great to hike on them and climb them. And so we have this really beautiful property that is a mixture of the rock outcroppings. We have some nice forest, and back beyond where the truck and horse trailer is, we have a really nice pasture. So great property that is wonderful. We love it and we enjoy it, and everything in my house is usable, and I get to live in this beautiful home that, again, it's not done, it's not perfect, and so that part is kind of frustrating to me. But as I sit here and I look at all the imperfections, I have to stop myself and I have to remember all the things to be grateful for. So hopefully that little tour gives you just an idea. And maybe as you're looking at the things that to me are complaints, you are looking at going, yeah, but I would love to have this. And you're thinking, yes, but you don't know the circumstances that I'm in. And I totally get that. I totally get it, because that's how I feel a lot of times. And yet, as I just look at this view right here, and I see the beautiful sky, the beautiful trees, the beautiful pasture that has a lot of weeds, so ignore the weeds. But I see hope and I see promise, and I know that eventually it's going to be a beautiful space, and I'm trying really hard not to miss that beauty in the midst of that mess. So have a great day, and I hope you take a little time today